Hey everybody, this is Mike with the One Stop Co-op Shop, and today I'm doing a preview of Bloodwork, an upcoming campaign adventure boss battling game. And as always, I take no money from publishers. I'm just showing the game so you can make an informed decision. And if you like the content on the One Stop Co-op Shop, consider supporting us through Patreon. You get early access to our videos and exclusive videos every month you can't see anywhere else. You can also listen to our weekly podcast for reviews and design discussions, or join the conversation and say hi on our Discord. So Bloodwork is, like I said, a campaign adventure combat game. You can play scenarios as one-offs, which is what I'll be showing today, or in a campaign mode where you're leveling up, getting new equipment, all that kind of stuff, and also leveling up your settlement. But when you get right down to it, it is a game where, like many, you have 4 adventurers, regardless of player count. And you're going against minions and a boss with some kind of goal. In this case, if I can defeat the main boss figure here, then I win the scenario. So it's going to look pretty reminiscent of some other games you've seen, but it does do several things that are pretty new, so I'll talk about those. But just to show you some of the stuff I'm not going to be demonstrating in this video, there is, again, a settlement that you can be upgrading that'll get you more abilities, sort of KDM-ish style. There are also ally characters that can fill in for the full featured characters, if you want to have a little bit less fiddliness with running them. Although I'll be controlling all 4 characters for this video because honestly they aren't that complicated. But yeah, you will have these allies you can sub in for main characters and they can level up along with you. And then as for the adventure part, when you're not doing the town phase, you'll be moving along this map, and along the nodes of the map you will have little adventures and events and combats that are quickly abstracted before you get to the main event of each scenario where you have to face off against a boss and their minions. So those are, again, some of the things I'm not going to be showing you. What I'm going to show you is the main combat system here. And keep in mind that all the components, the rules, everything here is a prototype, still in development. I'll share my thoughts at the end of the video on what I like and what I'm not so sure about in the system, but it could all change by the time the game hits print. Also, you might have noticed the miniatures look a little weird. That's because they sent the miniatures like this, with bases that you can glue their feet to, not realizing that I do not own any miniature glue because I don't really like miniatures that much. So I ended up just laying them down on top of their bases that show their unit color, which I think will work out fine because it's probably kind of easier to see than just gray plastic from above. But yes, to my untrained eyes, the miniatures look quite good. I just did not have the necessary tools to put them on their bases. But let's talk through a few things before we get to the first round of combat. You'll see the boards divided into multiple mats. So there's 4 of them here, just to kind of show you where that intersection point is. I've got terrain on the board, a wall, a tree. That's supposed to be a little house that's standing up. They actually did have walls I could have used to make it more 3-dimensional, but whatever, it's a top-down video. There's also these little corrupted patches that you can go to and basically buy yourself more turns before the enemies get stronger. You can't quite see it, but there's a treasure chest in the corner. If I was playing on campaign mode, unlocking that would allow me to get more cool things, both loot unique to the boss and also just general loot. And I've got my 4 starting characters down here. They had 5 heroes with the prototype they sent me, but I'm using the 4 that are recommended. Each type of enemy is going to have a board like this. This one is for Gigarat, who is the main boss leader. Why is there a cube here? I have no idea. But they've got their stats, so he's got his starting health, which is 25. There it is, 25. He also has this round tracker. It's going to tick up each round, and when he gets to this top part, all the enemies become corrupted and flip to their nastier versions. So a little bit of a timer there. I mean, it's not a hard timer. You don't lose the game if you don't win before that point, but it'll make things much tougher. He's also got defensive stats, attack stats, movement stats, status effects he applies, all that fun stuff. And here are his minions. I've got health trackers for each of the 3 different colors of minions in each type. We've got archers and the wreckers, the melee ones. Oh, and I forgot to mention this to the other guy. They've got these dice. These are going to be rolled each turn to vary up how easy it is to hit the enemies. And they've got their own stats and all that stuff. And then for each of the 4 heroes, like Hallbjorn here, we've got their own hero board. So they've got their equipment on the side here. They've got abilities. We're starting out with 2 in this scenario. They've got their attack stats, more abilities, skills here, their health, their armor and items, and also one of their little level up tracks over here. And some of their basic statistics. And I think that's enough to go on. I'll explain what all this stuff actually means as we take the first round. So first thing that happens at the beginning of each round is this corruption tracker ticks upwards 1, even at the beginning of the first round. So in 4 more rounds, we will be dealing with corrupted, nastier enemies. Okay, next we flip over this Fate card. This is going to be a combination of initiative and also enemy activation. Because what you do is, on the card, it'll show who activates first between the minions, the heroes, and the leader. In this case, it's minions, then heroes, then leader, but that can vary up on each card. But then it's also going to tell us what each of them is doing. So this will tell us what all the minions are doing, the heroes we get to do what we want, and then this will tell us what Gigarat, who is mad on this card, is doing. And these are specifically keyed to the scenario we're playing, to this boss Gigarat. So we would not use these same cards with somebody else. All right, and the minions are going first, so it says Simple Assault. So the defenders, the Goblin Wreckers, are going to go first in this case. So they're going to attack a unique enemy with tactics. We'll randomize who each one is attacking, but they will try to attack a different one each time. And tactics means they'll basically get like an automatic critical hit bonus from their attack. And then the supporters, which in this case are the Goblin Archers, will attack whoever has the highest hit point. Geez, each of them? That'll be fun. Okay, so the defenders are going first. We're going to activate them in left to right order based on color. So here, red, then yellow, then gray. They have a movement stat of 5. They have 12 health. Oh, and I got to roll for their defense. Give me a second. They got their armor. And yeah, they can attack at range 1. That's what the 1 there means. They are rolling 3 green dice for their attack. And for each hit they get, they're going to get 2 damage. And because the card said they had their tactics ability, they are also going to knock us down if they hit us. But yeah, first I got to roll for defense for each unit. This is going to change up what their defense is. So that was the lowest result for those guys. The stickers are also pretty easy to hit this turn, liking all of that. And Gigarat is a little bit higher. His die goes up to 6, whereas the white die, I think, fluctuates from 2 to 4. So 2 is the lowest result. And I think the melee guys go from 1 to 5, maybe. Either way, we got pretty low defenses this round, so it's going to be easier for us to hit them, which is great. So the red Goblin Wrecker is going first. He's got a movement of 5. He wants to attack a unique enemy, but he can only reach 2 of them because each movement space lets you go diagonally or orthogonally 1 space. So with 5 movement, he can go 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he can reach basically my Cleric or my Archer, but not the other characters. So each of the heroes has a number 1 through 4. I just roll a d4, and he got a 3, which is Halbjorn. Oh, but he's not one of the eligible ones. Now, I'm not sure if I roll again. I guess I'll say I do, because if they can't target who they want to target, they usually fall back to a basic activation where they just attack the closest person, which means they wouldn't get that tactics bonus. But that doesn't necessarily make sense here. Okay, there we go. I got to the Cleric, the 4. Okay, so we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When they have multiple spaces they could move to, you can pick, but they always want to spend as little movement as possible. Okay, now they're going to attack. So they've got range 1. They're rolling 3 green dice. The greens are d6s, and each hit is going to do 2 damage. And if they do at least 1 point of damage, they're going to knock us down. And they have accuracy +1, which means they get +1 to each of their die rolls. And what are they trying to get? They are trying to exceed the defense stat, which is this one right here, a 4 for Maeve, the Fey Cleric. For each die that exceeds that, they'll get a hit. So they're rolling d6s, 3 of them. They get +1 from their accuracy. So normally they would need to get a 5 or higher. They have to beat the 4, not just equal it. But because of their accuracy, they need to get a 4 or higher. So each 4 or higher they roll is going to do 2 damage. And okay, they got 2 hits with their +1 accuracy, each of those doing 2 damage. So Maeve has 4 damage incoming. But then you draw from this blood deck, and it shows where they actually hit us, in this case on the arms. And we see if Maeve has any armor on her arms. Nope. So she is canceling 0 of that 4 damage, so she goes from 16 life to 12. And then unfortunately, because they dealt damage, Maeve is knocked down. It's going to take an action for her to stand up, or somebody else can use an action to stand her up. You get 3 actions on your turn, by the way. And until she's stand up, she's got -2 defense. She can't attack. She can't do much of anything. So hopefully she doesn't get attacked again. All right, next is our yellow goblin. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so he can't reach the archer, but he can get to everybody else, although Maeve is not in contention anymore because the card said unique. So we're going to ignore their regular numbers and just say 1 to 2, 3 to 4 here. Okay, so they're attacking our fairy mage. I think her name is Mary. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll just put him right next to Halbjorn so he can go ham on him in a second. So Mary has 4 defense as well. Again, with their accuracy, they're going to hit on a 4 instead of a 5. But she also has evasion +1, a little bit hard to see there under her light armor, which means she gets to roll a d4 and add it to her defense value for a single one of the enemy's dice. So she could potentially cancel 1 hit. Let's see. Ooh, this is great. So she got a 4. She can add that to her defensive 4, so she has 8. So his 4 does not hit. Again, that can only apply to 1 die, but these 2s missed anyway. And because she didn't take any damage at all, the knockdown does not apply either. Bonus. All right, and this last one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so he could target either the archer or the warrior. We'll say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so he's going for the warrior, which is probably better for us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And Halbjorn only has 3 defense. Wah-wah. And no cool bonuses or anything. Oof. So that is 6 damage coming in to his legs where he has no armor. Ouch. A good thing he has 20 life, though, so he's still got a bunch. And then he is also knocked down. Sadness. All right, so now the archers are going to try to attack the enemy with the highest hit points. But if they can't reach the enemy with the highest hit points, they will default to attacking the closest person they can. So the red archer is first. And the highest hit points at the moment is Saren the archer, who has not been attacked yet. The archers have 5 movement and 3 range. And they always want to be at max range if possible to stay away from you. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, never mind. They definitely can't get to Saren. So they're just going to default to attacking whoever they can reach, the closest person, which has to be Halbjorn, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. And how line of sight works, I think it's the same way like Imperial Assault did it in a few other games. You can pick one corner of theirs, and you got to get to 2 different corners of the other one. I think I have that right. I didn't look back and read the full line of sight section, but it's something like that. Anyway, long story short, this guy can shoot Halbjorn, who has, by the way, -2 defense because of a knockdown, which means this guy is hitting for 2. He's not getting the bleed because the card did not save it. He got a tactic bonus, unless the blood card that's flipped, the one that says where you hit, specifically says they get a tactic. That's how they usually get it. So he's rolling 3 8-sided, or no, 10-sided dice. Those are the blue ones, trying to beat a 1 for 2 damage each. It feels like that's going to happen. All right. Yep, that's 6 damage. Ouch, buddy. You are down to 8. Oh, I forgot. Halbjorn could have started equipped with his blacksmith shield, which adds a steady +1 to his defense, because his whole thing is that he can switch between his weapons for free once per turn. Wouldn't have made a difference in that attack. Maybe would have made a difference in the previous one, but too late. All right, next, the yellow archer still wants to attack him. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, that would get him within 3. And Saren also has 4 defense. So 1 miss, 2 hits for 4 damage. These archers are not very nice. Okay, and Gray, now who has the most life? It's probably Mary the Mage. No, her and Saren are tied. Oh, actually, everyone's tied. Maeve, too. So I think we roll for it. I'm not sure if you can reach all of them. It looks like you probably can. 1, 2, 3. So 2, 4, 6. Okay, so he'll attack Mary. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, got into range. All right, again, she's got 4 defense plus her evasion ability. So, 2 of those missed, and with that, another one missed. Geez, Mary, you should just take all the damage, or all the lack of damage, as it were. All right, so that was it for Simple Assault. Now we are going to have our turn. We get to decide the order that each hero activates, but they each have to activate fully before the next person goes. And let's do something simple, like Halbjorn standing up and attacking people. So when you take your turn, you get to take 3 actions, and you can repeat the same action multiple times. So you could, attack 3 times, you could move 3 times, you can, like Halbjorn's going to do, spend 1 action to not be knocked down anymore. But yes, for a movement action, you can move whatever your movement value is. For Halbjorn, it's 3. For an attack action, you can use one of your attacks. He has only range 1. As an action, you can switch your equipment, or for Halbjorn, he can do that as a free action, which he will, because his blacksmith's hammer gives him an extra die roll of his attacks, although he does less damage with each hit, but it makes him a bit less all or nothing with his attacks. All right, for his other 2 things, let's just wail on these people, I think. We'll start with the yellow wrecker that he's next to. So the wrecker die rolled a 2, but they have a +1 on their card, so their defense is going to be 3 for us to hit them. Again, 12 life to defeat them. And when we draw a blood card to see where we hit them, we will be contending with mostly armor on their chest, a little bit of armor on their hands and head, and nothing on their legs. So that's kind of the main thing we want to get here. So let's get to the attack action, because this is another one of the pretty new things in this game. It's pretty cool. So each character has 3 attacks, and they're going to roll different sides of dice. So if Halbjorn wants to use his Reckless Power attack, he'll roll green dice. If he wants to use Perfect Balance, red dice, the D8s. And if he wants to do Absolute Control, he'll roll D10s. Which, as you can imagine, is going to give him a higher probability of getting through the enemy's defense, which is currently 3, so he has to get a 4 or higher. But each of them is going to have some other things going on. So, this little card here, I got to pick which side I wanted to put it in with. This is a ability that I got to pick, and I get to pick where it goes in. So it's going to give, in this case, a passive bonus to Absolute Control, so the rows become bonuses for the given attack. In this case, I get a free reroll of one of my attack dice if I use Absolute Control. Or if I use Perfect Balance, I can spend 3 Rage or Fury. I don't have any of that yet, but every time Halbjorn successfully attacks somebody when not using a skill, he'll get 2 Fury. But yeah, I can use Shove if I pay 3 Fury when I'm using Perfect Balance. And if I do Reckless Power, I get nothing. Although they each have their own special abilities. So Reckless Power is a D6. Says I get to add the critical value from the blood card, so I deal extra damage when I attack with that. Perfect Balance gives me a free combat reroll, just like the one on Absolute Control. And Absolute Control, if I spend at least 1 Fury, I can draw 2 blood cards and pick one. So I would have a higher chance, for example, of hitting the guy's legs where he's less defended. But for this first one with no Fury, I think Absolute Control makes most sense. Now, how many dice am I rolling? My Runed Battle Hammer says I have 1 range. I roll 1 die, and each hit does 4 damage. But because in my other hand, I'm using my Blacksmith's Hammer, I get to roll +1 die, but I deal -2 damage. So I'm going to roll 2 dice, dealing 2 damage each, instead of 1 die dealing 4. But again, it gives me a higher chance of not whiffing entirely. So let's go for it. Oh, another thing is, each of the dice, their highest result, so a 10 on a D10, a 6 on a D6, is what's called a crit. It's an automatic hit no matter what their defense is. And also, you get to deal extra damage to the enemies for crits when you flip over the blood card. And you get to pick where you hit them, so you can automatically hit them in the legs where they have no armor in this case. So there is a little bit more reason to pick the lower-faced dice, like D6s, because crits are more common. Anyway, here we go. Absolute Control. Okay, so I can do a combat reroll. One of them. Hey, 9, don't change. You were already good. And great, got 2 hits. So 2 times my modified damage of 2 means 4 is going in towards the goblin. And I did not spend any Fury. I didn't have any to spend to get the draw 2 blood cards, pick 1. So I just draw, and unfortunately I got their body where they have 2 armor. I don't get the crit bonus damage. I would have if I had picked Reckless Power, but I didn't roll any crits. So the yellow gobbo is down to 10 life. But because I hit, I get 2 Fury that I can spend on future abilities. Oh, by the way, this yellow cube is what's called a gambit. You can use it at the start of the round before you flip the fate card to take a movement action once per combat. Each hero has their own. So like if you're in a really bad position, you can use your gambit before you see what the card is just to get out of dodge. All right, let's go again for my third action. We'll do Absolute Control on the exact same guy. And I will go ahead and use my power with 1 Fury to draw 2 blood cards, pick 1. I still have 1 combat reroll. I still need to get a 4 or higher to hit, so no thank you 1. Ooh, I got a crit. Beautiful. So I'm going to 2 of these, pick 1. Definitely picking that one. And again, because it's a crit, I don't have to take the body. I can say I hit him in the legs. So I'm doing my 4 damage, plus 4 more from the crit, so that's 8. And he has no armor. Oh, and I forgot. So these little things here, you can level up your statistics. So different stats like in encounters you have and things will check these. Faith, wit, agility, might. But also as you put them into these little sort of chip theory style slots, anything that's above them gets unlocked. So I forgot because I got to do this and start with my luck at 4 instead of 3. I have what's called 1 overpower. So whenever I get through with an attack, I add +1 to the overall attack total. So actually last round I did 3 damage to the guy, not 2. And this time with a crit, I did 9 damage. So that's enough. Oh yeah, that is enough. He's dead. Shouldn't have run up on us, boy. Ooh, and that's good because now Mary is not adjacent to anybody. So because if you do a range attack when you're adjacent to somebody, you get a minus to your accuracy. That was fantastic. But that's it for Hallbjorn. He has done his 3 actions, 1 to stand up, 2 to attack. Oh, and by the way, I don't think he gets any Fury if he uses any ability that costs Fury. So since he used the 1 Fury ability from Absolute Control, he does not get 2 more. Also, he does have these abilities. These are actions he can take. It's what the little arrow means here. So for 1 action, he can lose 2 hit points to gain 3 Fury. And for 1 action, he could gain another action. Oh, sorry, that's a free action. He could gain 1 action, but then he would gain 2 fatigue after all his actions are done, which would take him several actions to get rid of unless the Cleric helps him out. It would also make him kind of worse, but he can just go ham and try to kill somebody really big or like get 4 attacks on the boss if the boss has really low defense and it's a good time to do so. Oh, well, that was a great turn. Although I do think maybe I should focus on the archers for a bit because they only have 2 defense instead of 3. They don't have the bonus and they only have 10 life. Now, the one annoying thing with them is that they have this disengage ability. When they take damage, they move 1 away from whoever attacked them. Which means, yeah, the archer has 4 range. Oh, so they could shoot him, they could disengage, and they could shoot him again. Okay, so sure, let's have the archer go next, show what's going on with them. All right, so this is Sarah and the archer. They have 1 armor on their body and head, but nothing on their arms and legs. They have a +1 resilience bonus, so they are less likely to get affected by negative status effects. Oh, shoot, I forgot. Any debuff that has a little die symbol next to it here means it can be resisted. What you do is you roll a d10, this is how you do all your stats tests, and you add your relevant statistic, which is faith. For Saren, For Saren, since they have resilience +1, they would add 1 to that die. So I should have rolled for Halbjorn to see if he was actually knocked down. Oh, and Maeve. Let's do that right now. So Halbjorn only has a faith of 2, so they would need an 8 here. Nope, they almost made it, but they were indeed knocked down, so their turn still stands. But Maeve has a better chance. They started with 3 faith, and that's what they leveled up. So they actually have 4 faith, so they need a 6. Dang it. Nope, they are still knocked down too. Well, good thing I remember that rule. A ton of difference it made. Okay, so Saren has +1 resilience. They've got an elven bow, 4 range, 2 dice to attack, and they do 2 damage per hit. And they gain something to spend, kind of like Halbjorn's Fury, but differently because theirs is called Focus. They get 3 focus at the end of their turn, but each time they take damage from enemy effects or things, they lose 1 focus. So if you can keep them in the back to kind of make them fit that archer mindset, then they can get a ton of points to spend on things. Their special ability, they've got Hawkeye. If they spend an action, their next attack will lower defense dice by 1. So like they could, if they went first, make the boss have -1 defense for the rest of the round for everybody else. Pretty awesome, but that would cost them 1 focus. They can do Nature's Grace for 1 action and 2 focus. It'll let them do a corruption check. I showed you earlier those little skull tokens that are around the board. You can cleanse those, and they buy you a whole extra round before the enemies get corrupted, that little corruption track I showed you. And then for their attacks, so they've got Flawless Composure, which is a D12, boom, and if they spend 1, they get Precision with it. Which means when you're doing line of sight, they can ignore 1 unit. Probably not going to matter too much here. But yes, that's the bonus for Flawless Composure if they spend a focus. Elven Eyes lets them ignore 1 armor, and they're rolling D10s. And Impetuous Haste, rolling D8s. This attack doesn't cause fatigue. Oh, that's right. I forgot about this, although, again, it didn't apply to Halbjorn's turn since he stood up. If you do the exact same type of action 3 times in a turn, more than twice, then you get fatigued, which is, again, going to mess you up until you waste an action later. So, like, it's a little bit harder to get 3 attacks in a single turn. Good that I remembered that. But Impetuous Haste, if I make that my 3rd attack, then it's not going to have that negative effect. For now, if I'm shooting the archers... Actually, you know what? They do have defense armor on almost all their parts, except the body, actually. So, since I only need 3s, I'll do Elven Eyes. Rolling D10s, and I'm ignoring 1 armor. Each of these hits, going to do 2 damage. Okay, only 1 hit got through. That was on Archer Yellow. Oh, I got to draw the blood. Okay, and it did hit their body where they have no armor, but I would have ignored the 1 armor anyway. So this guy is down to 8 life. Oh, and just to show you, that is the tactics symbol. Whenever an enemy draws that for their attack, they not only get their little bonus, like the Goblin Wrecker is knocking you back, but it also automatically targets your head. So having good headgear is kind of extra important in the game. Well, that worked out so great. Not really that great. Saren's going to go for it again with their second action. Oh, wait, the guy does retreat once first, but then he's going to go for it again while he's still in range. There we go. 2 hits, although not a crit, sadly. And again, it's less likely to get a crit while I'm using blue dice. Hits on the body again. With power +1. That's cool. So that was 4 + 1, 5. Oh, dang it, I got the icons wrong. Sorry, y'all. This one is overpower 1, so he did a +1 damage to both of those attacks. Halbjorn's was +1 critical damage. Oh, it shoot. I guess means the goblin's still alive because he only got a crit once. All right, so the goblin should have taken 3 damage for the first attack, and the second attack, they should have taken 5 damage. But the yellow goblin wrecker should have 1 life left. All right, this guy runs away, sadly, which means he is now out of range. Although you can actually shoot at long range, but you hit 1 less often. So maybe... should I go for it? Sure, let's have Saren go for it. I'm using Impetuous Haste, my D8 one, where it does not give me fatigue, even though I attacked 3 times. But now I'm giving him +1 defense, or giving myself -1 accuracy, because I'm shooting at long range. So instead of needing a 3 to hit, I need 4s. But one of these will kill him. So that'll do it. Oh, I got a crit too. So it doesn't really matter. Great, we disarmed him, but he's also dead. So, good. All right, now let's try to kill this guy, and then all the yellow enemies will be gone. Although before we do that, let's give Saren 3 focus. Again, they will lose some of that if they are damaged, but hopefully not. All right, I think we'll have Maeve go next. Maybe they can finish off the orc next to Mary. So Maeve is a Fey Cleric. They have a dual-handed sword, so their Temple Sword gives their main statistics 1 range, 3 dice, but only 1 damage per die. But the Temple Blade adds 1 overall overpower, so not +1 per hit, but just 1 flat damage if we hit it all. So if they got a perfect hit here, hitting with all 3 dice, and getting the Temple Blade's +1 bonus, they would hit for 4 damage. Now, really awesome thing for them, they have a free action every turn. They can heal any ally for 2 life. I think they can include themselves. And the level up they gave themselves in getting +1 faith is +1 to healing. So they'll actually heal for 3. So who's the most messed up? Oh, it's clearly Hallbjorn, so let's get him back to 11. Oh, first, crud. I have to spend an action just not being knocked down anymore. All right, so that was a free action for healing, 1 action to stand up. So Maeve has 2 actions left. Let's see her options here. So Spell Break. Oh, she gets mana. So that means at the beginning of each of her turns, she gains 2 mana. So kind of the easiest, most consistent compared to Fury or Focus, because she doesn't lose it for anything. So for an action and 1 mana, she can Dispel 1 on an ally within 3 range. And then if that ally is an enemy adjacent, deal 2 true damage to that enemy. Dispelling applies to any buff that does not have the little lock symbol there. So she could not have dispelled his knockdown, because that doesn't make any thematic sense. But she could dispel if he was on fire or bleeding, and she could get some free damage out of it. Pretty cool. And then for 3 and an action, she can do Divine Light. Heal all allies for 1 hit point and dispel 1. I'm not quite sure if that's 1 dispel on everybody or just one of the allies. I'm also not 100% sure if that bonus applies to everybody, so we heal everyone for 2, which would be pretty dang great. But their attack bonuses. So they can do Break Tactics. They roll a d12. If they spend 2 mana, they can make the defense die go down by 1. It's already at the lowest for the guys, but that's great. And they get to move 2 after attacking, which is awesome. Or they can do Thanarin Harmony. They get 2 rerolls, which is good when they have 3 dice, and they're rolling a d8. And they have Death and Life. If they spend 3 mana, they get +2 range, so it becomes a range attack. And on damage, heal an ally in range 4 for 3. And then finally, with Heavy Strike, they get +1 dice. So they roll 4 dice instead of 3. And again, it's d6s, so they're not going to hit as often, but they're also going to get more crits. Oh, I totally forgot to talk about Sarens. If they had used their top attack, Flawless Composure, they would have gotten attack rate +1, so they'd have rolled 3 dice, but they would gain defense down afterwards. So they'd be in a really precarious place where they'd be easier to hit until their next turn. I think it's still their next turn. Or for 4 focus, if they save up, they get Bullseye. They can apply that to their D10 attack. It gets Overpower +1, that's +1 damage, and you get to choose the hit location, so not too bad. But anyway, I'm liking Thanarian Harmony. 2 rerolls with 3 red dice. We'll try to get a crit. Oh, wait, no. What am I talking about? I'm going to do Break Tactics, because it's a d12, so I have a higher chance of hitting. I can spend my 2 mana to lower the guy's defense die by 1. Does it happen now? I'm guessing it happens after the attack, maybe. And then I get to move 2 after attacking, so I can get next to the yellow guy that Hallbjorn was not able to kill and finish him off. Yeah, I'm going to assume that the -1 defense is after. Anyway, so I need a 4+ to hit this red guy I'm attacking. And... okay, I missed once, and each of these is only 1 damage, but I have +1 overpower, so 3 damage gets through to the guy's arms, where they have 1 armor, darn it. So red only has 10 life now, but I think all of their defense is down by 1? I'm not sure. So I should have done this guy first now that I think about it. But whatever, it's fine, and I'll move twice to go to there. And now with D8 this time, and the 2 combat reroll, let's try to kill the injured dude. Oh, there's a crit. I mean, yeah, he's super dead. I don't even have to draw the card for it. Bye-bye. We thought you were dead before. This time you really are. And I could attack again, but take a fatigue, which would kind of waste an action. But I do have ways to dispel. Although I can't remember if fatigue is dispellable. I'm guessing it's not, right? Thematically, that wouldn't make sense. So let's take a move action instead. My move value is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. He's got the highest faith of all my characters, so I can go and maybe buy us around clearing some corruption. Okay, and last to go is Mary. She's got the very impractical armor options. Don't love this illustration either, but it is what it is. She is also a mana user, so she's getting 2 mana at the start of her turn. She's got armor on her head and body. She's got a Ring of Fire, like in Finding Nemo, 3 range, 3 dice, hitting for 1 damage. And she has also leveled up her wit, so she gets +1 overpower on each of her attacks. She can take a meditation action to gain 2 mana, or she can take a blink action and teleport 6, which is good because she only moves 3 for 3 mana. And then for her attack, she's got Elemental Mastery. It's D12s. If she spends a mana, she gets +1 overpower, +1 more damage. If she spends 2 mana, she gets range 5 instead of range 3 with lightning. Then if she spends 2 more mana, 4 total, she can target a second target up to 2 range from the first, make it chain lightning. That's pretty awesome. Arcane Acumen is D8, but if she spends a mana, she gets +1 accuracy, so she's more likely to hit. And she gets overpower +1 against grunts. Is that what they're called? Not minions, grunts? But that's pretty cool. Automatic +1 damage against the weaklings. And then finally, Explosive Sorcery is a D4, but she does 1 true damage, armor-piercing damage, to each unit adjacent to the target if they all bunch up. But yeah, I mean, it's got to be Elemental Mastery, I think, this time, right? And she's got 3 range. Who's hurt? The red guy's down to 10, so I guess he's a little bit better than the gray guy. So sure, let's try to kill him. And I'll go and use Elemental Mastery with the D12s. spend, well, actually, will I? No, you know what? I won't. Instead, I'm going to do Arcane Acumen. I'm a little bit less likely to hit, but a little bit more likely to crit. So I'm still rolling 3 dice, but d8s. I will spend 1 of my 2 mana to get +1 accuracy. And I get +1 damage against grunts and +1 more overpower. So it's +2 damage to the attack overall. I think that should work out. And remember, with his lower defense, I'm now hitting on 3+ instead of 4. And with my +1 accuracy, I'm now hitting on 2+. So I just need to not whiff. All right, here we go. Nice. No crits, unfortunately. But I did get 1, 2, 3 damage, +1 overpower against grunts, +1 overpower from my leveled up wits. So 5. But he's probably going to block. It's on his head, which has 1 armor. Okay, so he takes 4 damage. He's down to 6. All right, let's do it again. This time I'm not going to spend the mana. I'm just going to take the +1 overpower. And bloop. Okay, so I still hit with all of them and still no crits. So that is, once again, 5 damage coming. And it's on his arms. I didn't get the legs, but I also didn't get the chest. So it's 1 armor, so he's down to 2 life. All right, well, you know what? I'm going to take fatigue. I don't want this guy to stay alive. So let's hit him one more time. Same attack. Why not? Oh, now we get the crit. Of course. Yeah, he's dead. But I mean, she is fatigued. She basically has -1 defense, -1 to hit, -1 to her movement. She has like -1 everything until she takes amend action to get rid of this. Oh, there it is. I found it. Yeah, so you can't dispel fatigue, as I assumed. Well, cool. We killed half the minions. Not too bad. Let's see what the boss is doing. Gigaroth the Mad. If more than 2 grunts are killed. Oh, shoot. Did we kill 3? Yeah, we did kill 3. Oh, sorry. And no fire is lit. There are these little fire pits on the map. Attack the closest enemy and move with speed +2 towards the nearest unlit signal fire. This is actually super good for us because in this one, unlike most activations, it said to attack first and then move, which means he actually checks range right away. And his 4 range is certainly not close enough to get to us. So he's going to move. Got 5 + 2 is 7. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I guess you need the +2. And then this is kind of fun. You get to actually slot in. The signal fire is lit. And I forget what the fire does in this scenario. I think once he lights both, it spawns some more enemies, but I'm not seeing it on the scenario sheet I printed right now. So not quite sure. But there you go. That was 1 full round of Bloodwork, just to kind of show you the main things that are going on. I'm going to stop there because, just to be totally honest, this is not the type of game that I love playing. I just wanted to show you all how it worked and give some thoughts on the mechanics, but I don't want to play out the entire thing on camera. So yeah, what is going on with the mechanics here that I like and that I'm not so sure about? Let's start with the positives first. I think this whole thing is really cool. The different die rolls you can do and the different abilities. And as you get more abilities, you actually overlay them. So like I might get rid of the knockback by, here, let me grab a card from somebody else. Like I might get rid of knockback by doing that, or I could put it underneath. So you're going to end up with 1 ability boosting each of your things. And then when you get tier 2, you'll have even more stuff going on. So I think that's fun to boost up your regular attacks. But also I just really like this core mechanic where you can roll dice that are more likely to hit or less likely to hit, but more likely to crit because they have fewer faces. And then you have like special abilities and things to use. I think that's really neat. I also like the very simple but cool mechanic of each person gaining their resource for spending for powers differently. Again, Halbjorn gets it from attacking people, Saren gets it from not being hit, and Maeve and Mary just generate it automatically. I'm not sure if there's any other types beyond that, but I think that's a pretty neat mechanic. I also really like these fate cards, combining an initiative system and an activation system. Very clever. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that before. And it does give each encounter pretty unique stuff going on, like the boss is doing things that are very specific to this map. Yeah, like here's a cool one, a Goblin's Greed. He'll actually run towards the treasure chest if you haven't looted it yet, and then he'll get like a relic to help him out, like he might have arrows that burn you all of a sudden. So really neat stuff going on here. I think it's a great system. Something I'm not as sure about with the core characters, and this is just a pet peeve of mine. I'm really into dungeon crawlers and boss battlers that have like card play and extra bells and whistles, things like Gloomhaven and Tidal Blades 2. So having a basic game where you're just like taking 3 actions, moving and attacking, it's not as much my jam these days, but I know there are tons of people that love games like that. It's definitely a more classic system for activation. So nothing wrong with it here, just not my personal preference. I do like the organization of enemies. I think it's a nice way to track multiple types. It is a little weird, again, if I was playing it correctly, that you can like lower the defense of one enemy and it affects the entire squad, but whatever. I'd rather have that than keeping track of like tons of status effects on each individual guy. Now, I'm not too sure about these defense dice. I know what they're going for. We're like, ooh, this round we rolled really badly for the sticker, but we rolled great for the Goblin Wrecker, so let's try to kill the Goblin Wreckers. But in my experience, because I did have a few full plays before this, like sometimes you'll just get the worst result for everybody, and it's not like you can just not do anything that round. So I do think this is a little annoying at times, and definitely swingy. Like if you roll well, then you're just going to kill a lot more guys like I did in that last round. They have this really cool mechanic where multiple people are activating with a single card draw. Why don't they have something that balances these out, like drawing a card, and it'll tell you, okay, these guys have a really low defense this turn, but these guys have a really high. That way it would kind of naturally provide you different targets and balance things out. But I don't know, they really want to go with the dice, and again, a lot of the statistics and powers affect the dice, so it's fine. I also feel like the enemy activations take just a bit longer than I would like them to, because I got to see what special thing they're doing. I got to move each of them up. I have to figure out which dice they're rolling. I got to roll it. I have to maybe use player powers, and then I got to draw a blood card for each hit. And then it often doesn't matter that much because I'm blocking like 1 versus 2. I'm sure that'll matter more once I have higher value defensive items. But yeah, I do feel like there's a little bit too many bells and whistles for activation. Just for my personal preference, I'd rather things be a little bit faster to get back to the hero turns more quickly. Also, as you saw, the dice rolls can be pretty swingy. Rolling a crit is huge because you get to do like +2 or +3 damage and target the exact spot where they're not going to be blocking well. But, don't get me wrong, that also means that it's fun. It's cool to roll a crit. So it is a kind of a net positive for the player experience, I think, to have these swingy kind of crits. But yeah, sometimes you'll just totally whiff. Like you saw some of my attacks hit the wrong armor, and I also didn't roll very well, so I might only do like 1 damage with my entire attack. And then the next attack, I might do 8 because I got a crit. That can lead to excitement, but I think it could also lead to frustration if you're wasting actions. Besides that, I didn't dig too deeply into the ally system because I didn't have the full rules for it, but I do like that they're simplifying characters. Although, like I said, I think the characters are pretty straightforward. It's not too big of an ask to quad hand, control all 4 characters with 1 player. I like this whole idea of having little events as you're adventuring around, keeping things quick and thematic, but then getting to the actual boss fight, because I would hate to have to resolve an entire extra battle with a nameless horror, so it kind of keeps things focused on the main battles. I haven't gotten to dig into the campaign much, but it seems like a cool idea. Leveling up your settlement looks like it might be kind of cool. Honestly, these are the kind of things that I'm not that into anymore with campaign games. I kind of like my things more streamlined, but this is going for a more of an epic feel, so if you're into that kind of stuff, if you like the KDMs of the world, I think there could be a lot to like here. So yeah, I think Bloodwork has some cool stuff going on. It's a bit too swingy for my taste, it's a bit too basic in its action economy, and it has bells and whistles that just for me are not a value add, but I think for those big dungeon crawler, boss battler lovers out there, this might be the exact right game for you. So I hope this quick look gave you some idea of whether this game might appeal to you. Go check out the crowdfunding page and see if it interests you more. And thanks for watching, everybody. Special thank you to our biggest Patreon supporters, J. William F., Steve Wren, KCW, Andrew R., and Chris C. We'll see you at the next stop.